Good evening, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the September meeting for the West Milton Council. I'd like to please ask everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for serving on this board as you do. I've worked with a lot of boards, I've worked in a lot of boards, and to come into a room and see everybody just chatting and cheerful, and nobody looked like they didn't want to be here tonight. A strong board makes a strong leadership. A strong leadership will build a strong community, and community is why you all are here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Father, we come to you tonight and we thank you for your many blessings. A beautiful day, beautiful weather for the last week. And Lord, you just have showered blessings down on us one after another, day after day, and we thank you for that. We come tonight and we ask for your guidance, we ask for your strength, we ask that you would be with us as a board tonight. Help us all to make decisions for the best of the community and not to lift up our own agenda. Lord, help us as a unit that we can serve this community in strength and in power to your glory, that it might be built up, renewed, made whole, and strengthened as we grow into a larger community. Lord, help us to go quickly tonight and efficiently. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. I would like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Miller,
Here.
Dews,
Here.
Copp,
Here.
Hertz,
Here.
Horn,
Here.
Metz,
Here.
and Tracy.
Here.
Council should have received minutes for the August 10th meeting and the August 24th workshop. Are there any motions for the meeting? Or for the minutes, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for August 10th, 2021 and August 24th, 2021.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dews,
Yes.
Copp,
Yes.
Hertz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Metz,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. On August 24th council workshop, Councilmember Horn was absent due to personal reasons. Is there any motion to excuse?
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Horn for August 24th.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dews,
Yes.
Copp,
Yes.
Hertz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Metz,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Any correspondence to council this evening?
There's no correspondence, Mayor.
Thank you. Tonight, there are many different pieces of ordinances and resolutions. I believe everybody should have been able to get a copy of those. Are there any comments from citizens tonight regarding tonight's legislation? All right. Seeing none, moving on to ordinances and resolutions. First one up is CM-21-37. Ms. Brosh.
It's a resolution appointing a temporary municipal clerk for the September 14th, 2021 council meeting. Whereas the newly appointed municipal clerk for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio is unavailable for the council meeting held on September 14th, 2021. And whereas the municipal clerk is necessary in order to take minutes and prepare the minutes of the council meeting for September 14th, 2021. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, Linda L. Cantrell is hereby appointed as temporary municipal clerk for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio for the sole purpose of taking and preparing the minutes for the September 14th, 2021 council meeting. Section 2, Linda L. Cantrell shall be hired as an independent contractor pursuant to the terms of the contract attached hereto. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brosh. Manager Sheridan, kind of self-explanatory, but did you want to go into any further detail?
Sure. The young lady who's going to take over as the new clerk unfortunately experienced a death in her family, an out-of-state family member, so she would not be available to attend. She notified me this just a few days ago, and obviously I passed along our condolences and told her that we would see her at the next meeting. So we've made arrangements with a familiar face to fill in for you tonight, thus the need for this resolution.
Thank you. Any discussion by council this evening for the resolution? Any motions?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we accept resolution CM-21-37
Second. Roll call?
Dews,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Mitts,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Welcome back, Linda.
Thank you. By the way, do I have cupcakes and cake?
Next is Resolution CM-21-2019. This resolution was tabled previously. Before we move forward with the resolution, we would need to untable that. So is there any motion to do so?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to untable CM-21-19. Second.
Roll call?
Dews,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Mitts,
Yes.
Tracy,
Abstain.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving on with CM-21-19. Ms. Brush.
It's a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to accept contract change orders from VTF Excavation LLC of Salina, Ohio for the construction of the Ludlow Falls Sanitary Sewer Project. I think I've already read it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Manager Sheridan, would you
Right.
care to maybe refresh us on this? And
Certainly. There was some concern expressed about how the ordinance was written, and so we've made some adjustments, hopefully to satisfy those concerns.
thank you.
Not on this one, though.
Is that the wrong one? Oh, I'm sorry. No, my apologies.
Need a new one.
We did a whole new one. Right. So this one doesn't need the action. We're going to deep six this one and replace it with a different.
We can vote it down, though.
Right, you vote this one down and bring the new one on. I'm sorry, thank you, Linda.
Okay.
It's okay.
Does that make sense? Because there was concerns why we just created a whole new ordinance that hopefully is more responsive to the concerns that were expressed.
Yes.
So 34 is the replacement.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it has
Yeah.
a third change order on it.
Right. Just for that specific.
Correct.
My questions are more Robert's Rules of Order, so we can talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, is there any motion?
No, if you don't have a motion to pass it, then
It
Then
died.
it
it dies
dies.
on the table, yes.
Okay. So, no motion. All right. We'll consider that one dead. Moving on, at this time, with CM-21-22 and 26, both require a public meeting to be declared to discuss those before moving on with the ordinances. At this time, is there
I would suggest you have a motion to
a
open the
motion
public
to
hearing.
open the public meeting?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to open the public meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Dews,
Yes.
Cobb, yes, Kurtz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Mitts,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. At this time, are there any public comments concerning an ordinance, CM-22, CM-21-22? It's an ordinance amending Section 52-142, service connection fees, and CM-21-26, an ordinance amending Section 51.23, sewer tap fees. Okay. Seeing none. Is there any motion to close the public hearing?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call?
Okay, Dews,
Yes.
Copp. Yes. Kurtz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Metz.
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Moving along to CM-21-22. Ms. Brush.
It's an ordinance amending section 52.142, service connection fees and special line assessments of the West Milton Code of Ordinances.
Thank you. Manager Sheridan.
Yeah, this is an ordinance that simplifies and increases some of the charges on new customers.
Any discussion by council this evening regarding the ordinance? Any motion for the ordinance?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept ordinance CM-21-22 as written.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dews,
Yes.
Copp.
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Metz.
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Next is ordinance CM-21-26. Ms. Brush.
An ordinance amending section 51.23 sewer tap fees and special line assessments of the West Milton Code of Ordinances to incorporate a one-time administrative fee of 15% on the new purchase of new meters.
Jeff?
Right, this ordinance is fairly self-explanatory. This is just an additional administrative fee when someone buys a meter for new service.
Thank you. Any discussion by council this evening? Any motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept ordinance CM-21-26 as written.
Second.
Roll call?
Dews,
Yes.
Copp.
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Metz.
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Next is CM-21-31. Ms. Brush.
It's a resolution appointing members of the Board of Trustees of the Stillwater Crossings New Community Authority. Whereas on October 24th, 2017, by its resolution CM-17-30, the Council of the Village of West Milton, Ohio, known as the Village, approved a petition for establishment of the Stillwater Crossings New Community Authority under Chapter 349 of the Ohio Revised Code, known as the petition. And whereas this council has previously appointed an individual to serve as a citizen representative on the Board of Trustees, known as the Board, of the Stillwater Crossing New Community Authority, known as the Authority, with a term that will end on October 24th, 2021. And whereas this council has previously appointed an individual to serve as the representative of local government on the Board of the Authority with an unexpired term that will end on October 24th, 2021. And whereas this council desires to formally appoint individuals to serve the citizen representative term that will begin on October 24th, 2021 and end on October 24th, 2023, and to appoint a representative of local government to serve the term that will begin on October 24th, 2021 and end on October 24th, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, appointment of citizen member for term ending October 24th, 2023. As provided in the petition, this council hereby appoints Ms. Vicki L. Bly to serve as a citizen representative member of the Board of the Authority for the term beginning on October 24th, 2021 and ending on October 24th, 2023. Section 2, appointment of representative of local government for term ending October 24th, 2023. This council hereby appoints the village manager D. Jeffrey Sheridan to serve as the representative of local government member of the Board of Authority for the term beginning on October 24th, 2021 and ending on October 24th, 2023. Section 3, open meetings. This council finds and determines that all formal actions of this council and any of its committees concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in those formal actions were in meetings open to the public, all in compliance with the law, including RC Section 121.22. Section 4, This resolution shall be effective from and after the earliest time provided by law.
Thank you, Ms. Brush. Manager Sheridan, would you like to expand on that?
Certainly, the organization that was formed as a part of the Stillwater Crossings development needed to reappoint one member and replace someone who was no longer employed by the village. So that meeting was held, and those recommendations were made to the council for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion with council this evening regarding the resolution? Is there a motion for the resolution?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we accept Resolution CM-21-31.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dews,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Hertz,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Next is CM-21-32. Ms. Brush.
A resolution authorizing the municipal manager to approve additional costs incurred by Wagner Paving Incorporated for street resurfacing and surface complex resurfacing. Whereas on May 1st, 2021, council passed Resolution CM-21-14 awarding a contract for the 2021 Municipality of West Milton Annual Paving Program to Wagner Paving Incorporated for street resurfacing and service complex resurfacing. And whereas the municipality was recently informed that additional costs were incurred due to additional milling, base, and surface course. And whereas the additional cost for the street resurfacing totals $18,647.75. And whereas the additional cost for the service complex resurfacing totals $18,862.50. And whereas council believes these were necessary changes in order to continue with and complete the paving project. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized and directed to approve the additional costs incurred from Wagner Paving Incorporated in the amounts of $18,647.75 and $18,862.50 for a total of $37,510.25. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brush.
Yeah, I would ask Service Director Herron to provide the detail on the need for this ordinance.
I think we discussed a little bit at one of the workshops, but I wanted to let you guys know more pinpoint wise, because I was still going through the numbers when we talked. But of those costs, the milling was mainly on Hamilton Street. That was the additional cost. When we reprofiled all the intersections, we obviously wanted to make sure the streets were correct. Hamilton, we took down. Once we got a little bit of distance, we realized it had some soft spots. So we ended up milling a little bit deeper on that and doing some base course. So that that $711 of milling and base course, that was mainly Hamilton Street, and the additional would be some of the intersections like on Main Street where we carried it across to try and, so that basically the next time we pave, we'll just have to take off from there. We won't have to come back into that intersection. So that was the surface course, base course. So those were the main, Hamilton Street was the biggie on that. So we were really hoping when we got down, it would be solid like Main Street was. Unfortunately, it probably would have lasted, but probably, we don't need probably. So, especially on that street, it does get a lot of trucks and stuff. So, then on the service complex, let's see, we had tack coat and surface course. The area where the recycling bins will go back to, we're going to cut a little bit of that out and put some concrete pad in. It was pretty dangerous when people were getting out and dumping. We had millings, 3-4 inch in diameter millings out there. While they were there, obviously it was going to be a lot cheaper to hit that area while they were there. So that was the majority, that surface and tack course. The base course that we had the extra in on the service complex was in front of where the salt barn is at. That area we do a lot of heavy, loading and tire turning. It needed just a little bit of extra base course to sturdy that up. And then in front of the old fuel barn where we park a lot of our equipment, when we started digging that out, it didn't have the sub base that we had hoped, unfortunately, but so that accounts for all the additional costs. Thank you.
Ben, how does that compare to the original cost of the project?
Actually, being over the 37,510, I will tell you that because of the milling on this project, I assumed that we would be over. The problem was, not problem, but the good thing was we were really close on the milling. I think I had thought 4 to 5 inches what we started doing. So we were over by the 37,510.
But do you remember the original cost?
Yeah.
I mean, are we like 2% more, or are we like 50% more?
Oh, no, like, hold on just a second. Of course, I have it right here. The original was 201,794 total.
15%?
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion with council? Any motion for the resolution?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we accept resolution CM-21, I already moved it. Which one number is it? 32.
32.
Dash 32 is written, sorry. I almost said the wrong one.
Roll call?
Dews.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Hurst.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Mitts.
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
Yes. Next is 21-33. Ms. Brush. Sure, I got the right one.
A resolution appointing a new municipal clerk pursuant to Section 4.09 of the West Milton Charter. Whereas the previous municipal clerk for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio has retired and the position is now vacant. Whereas pursuant to Section 4.09 of the West Milton Charter, the council shall appoint the municipal clerk. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the municipality of West Milton, Ohio, that Section 1, Jessica Stein, is that how you pronounce her name?
Yes.
Is hereby appointed municipal clerk for the municipality of West Milton, Ohio. Section 2, as municipal clerk, Jessica Stein shall carry out all of her duties as described in the West Milton Charter and codified ordinances. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after its passage.
Thank you, Ms. Brush. Jeff?
We obviously need a permanent replacement clerk, and Ms. Stein is well qualified, and so I recommend that she be appointed our new clerk of council.
Great. And I believe that she comes from Miami County.
She does. She comes from Pickle, I believe.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was referring to Miami County. She's a assistant clerk of courts up there.
Yes,
And
yes,
municipal
yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah. So well qualified. Not quite as experienced as Linda, but
But those
she'll
are,
get there.
those are pretty few and far between.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Any discussion for the resolution? Any motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept CM-21-33.
Second.
Roll call?
Dews.
Yes.
Cobb.
Yes.
Hurst.
Yes.
Horn.
Yes.
Mitts.
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes.
And Mayor Miller.
Yes. Next is the second whereas, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
My copy says to the municipality.
Oh.
We must have made the wrong copy.
I revised it, and I think when I did the revision, I copied the other wrong section in there, so.
Gotcha. Okay.
Revised it. Okay.
I
That
did,
makes
because
sense.
we wanted the wording changed, so I changed
Sure.
the wording and accidentally put the Miami County Health Department instead of
Gotcha.
Okay.
the
Okay.
municipality, so.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that'll be fixed in the final version when you pass it, so.
All right. Thank you.
Nothing will be fixed.
Moving on
I-
to mileage approval.
As I understand it, the council needs to make a motion and pass the acceptance of the millage terms. I can read them, or Renee can read them. It's simply says, Office of the Miami County Budget Commission to the Village Council. The Miami County Budget Commission hereby certifies the following rates of tax to be levied in the West Milton Village for municipal purposes on the general duplicates of 2021. Rates are subject to any additional levies approved by vote. In the fund, 10 mil limitation for the general fund, or 3.40 mils, which would result in revenue of $247,743.48. Under no limitation under the street levy, which expires in '23, 3.00 mils, which would result in $184,860.88 in revenue. So there's no resolution, just a motion and your approval, and then we'll submit this back to the county before October 1. And we'll need your signatures before you leave.
Is there a motion to accept the document as read?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the document as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
All right, a couple of items I'd like to go over in my report. In a prior meeting, there was some discussion of the no parking zone on the east side of J Street. I want to make sure that staff and I understand the extent of that portion of the street the council wishes to be made no parking. As I review the situation, and Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, there is a very large area denoted by signage that indicates no parking, but there's a much smaller portion of the curb that's painted yellow. And I guess I just want to be clear, we're going to be repainting the curbs later this month, early October, and when we do that, I want to make sure staff is doing it in accordance to the council's wishes. Do you want the entire area that's marked by signage to also be painted yellow?
But it's already a no parking zone, is that
It
correct?
says no parking by signage, and that's my understanding of the ordinance, but as I look at it, maybe it's really faded, but it looks to me like there's portions of the curb that's never been painted yellow.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between just signed and not painted
I think-
and painted and not signed?
Only consistency, I think. I believe they're both can be enforced, so there's no requirement that it be painted yellow. I'm glad she's shaking her head yes, so that if you got a no parking ticket just strictly on the signage, it was still enforceable.
Right.
But in terms of making it consistent, I would suggest, if we're going to be painting it, that the signage be consistent with the curb. Does that make sense?
As a citizen, I would rather have it painted because of older folks being able to know for sure than rather reading a sign and don't you say anything.
I didn't.
It's easier for us older folks if it's painted and we can actually see the yellow no parking.
Okay.
That's just an older person giving their opinion.
Mr. Herron, did you have anything to add as far as this issue?
No, I mean, what we did back in the 90s and 2000s, we used to have double everything, double sign and double curb paint. And we did away with the majority of the yellow paint and put up signage just because paint's expensive and labor intensive, and when you switch from oil-based to water paint, the waterborne paint didn't last nearly as long. So we signed a lot. Actually, I think J Street was one of those areas that we signed, I'm just going to say the late 90s, early 2000, so we didn't have to paint it. But I'll leave that up to, we can certainly paint it if
Seems like,
administration and
wasn't it you
council.
that mentioned that street?
Yeah.
And it was more
and
about
it's-
enforcement than,
Yeah, I think enforcement's part of it. The question that I have is, a month ago, we passed something to add a no parking area, I can't remember the street
On
now, but
Emmerich
for
Road, in
the
front of the veterinary.
vet clinic. So is there an ordinance? Is there something that says there's no parking to this point, and that's what the signage and the curb should match? I think we should have both, but it needs to match whatever the area is. If it's 100 yards or 50 yards or whatever, then that would all be the same.
So you just want to make sure that the actual signage and or curb is consistent with the ordinance.
Right.
I assume that to be the case, but we'll have to go back and
Well,
take a look
they're not
at it.
consistent with each other.
That's
so-
true, that's very true. But again, you only need one to be enforced, so. So would it be correct to say that as long as the signage and/or curbs are consistent with the ordinance, that's satisfactory?
Depends on whether or not you're the one getting the parking ticket.
I think a yellow curb is easier to know, hey, don't park there. Because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes you're just not noticing signs.
Right.
I think doubling up makes sense in high traffic areas, like he indicated on J Street. There was, in other places, a sign would be just fine without the painting, because I understand it saves labor. So, I mean, you could take that into consideration. I don't know that I want to be the one to say, well, let's do both here, and I mean, it'd either be one way or the other. And so, to me, if we paint the curb around part and then put sign and not paint it, it's inconsistent. So, I mean, if we're going to paint, we ought to just paint the no parking, but that's kind of what I think.
Sometimes it's much easier to tell just because you can see both signs. You're like, all right, so I can see both signs. I know I can't park between these two signs. But then there's other times, like, I can't remember if that was one of the ones where it kind of like maybe even curves up around and you may not see the other sign. But
Right, because not everybody knows it's 100 feet from the sign this way and that, or whatever.
Right.
That may not be the right thing. I don't even know. But,
Well, there are multiple signs.
right.
There are
I know on that
signs.
street, yes, but I'm thinking about like in front
Other
of,
places.
like in front of Robertson on Main Street, there's a sign so people don't park there to block the dock. But there's only one sign or something. So how far can you park away from the sign? You know?
Right.
Whereas a painted curb,
Tells you.
it tells you. So.
I think that we should probably just go ahead and paint the curb, and
Okay.
that way we keep it consistent throughout town.
So what I'm hearing is that we will paint the entire curb once we've confirmed that the ordinance is consistent with that distance. But Mr. Herron's department in other areas may not have to have, can either have one or the other. We're not going to do a consistency throughout the entire community, but because of that location and the high traffic, it will be both signed and painted. Is that correct? That's what we'll do. So we'll first confirm the ordinance, and then we'll paint the entire length. All right? Thank you. Next, there was a question about adding some additional pet waste stations. We've ordered 2 more, and we're going to be placing one near downtown and one on near North Main Street. And so as soon as those come in, those will be installed. It was also, any questions on that? But we're going to get 2 more. And
Do you have a more specific location so we know where to,
Like the downtown parking lot
okay?
area where
Yeah.
that green space is at.
Yeah,
And then Main, we haven't really decided yet. It's to catch, because South Main, we've got areas, or some up there in J Street, but this would catch like people that may be coming off of North Main across Hayes to like
Yeah.
Hamilton, that area. So
Okay.
I was thinking Tim Deuce's house, but I didn't.
He can just hand them out.
Yeah, that's what I do now.
So I hand them out.
No, I figured once they came in, I could get with Manager Sheridan and
Okay.
we could see what the best, someplace to kind of catch as many walkers through there as we can, because that's a high walking area, obviously. so.
yeah. I just, we'd like to know, that way we can put it out.
sure,
Yep.
once we've finalized it, we'll bring that back to you.
I have
Right
a
here.
question on those. I just noticed. So there's like 2 right behind the dry cleaners, like in where those apartments are. I was just walking back there. They're super close together, like almost like from where Jeff is, like from here to there. I just didn't know if they get utilized, like where one, I don't know, could get moved to a
Is that-
different spot.
Did we place both of those there?
You're talking about back,
Princeton Village Apartments.
I don't know what it's
oh,
called.
that
but
was
right-
placed by Princeton Village.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
different?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was pretty sure those were private.
Oh, they look the same, okay. Sorry.
That's fine.
But they are very
It's a good
They
question.
must fill up fast.
right here by the fire station would be a good spot for when, also on the North Main, or on the main side.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's because you walk that path.
Yeah.
I do too.
We'll take that into account as we're working on the budget for next year.
All right.
It was also mentioned about the possibility of restarting the Community Pride Awards program. And I just wanted to remind you of that fact. If we're going to do that, I would think we need to be doing it soon. Otherwise, plan to do it at the spring as kind of a second phase of our code enforcement suite that also commend those folks who are doing an excellent job in maintaining their property and making our community look as good as it does. So just something to think about. If you want to try to get it going this fall, probably need to do it. If not, we'll start working on it, have it ready to go when spring comes.
In the past, we've also done it in December, I believe.
In December.
For the lights.
Yeah.
Oh, for the
Christmas.
lights. Oh, I didn't think about that. I was thinking,
Yep.
grass mowed, beautiful flowers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that again?
We could kick it off there.
Sure. All right, we'll plan to do a December one for holiday decorations. Okay, well, I'll need more information on how you've done it in the past. I'll get with you and, or Ben, and we'll figure it out and be ready to go. All right?
Yeah.
As far as code enforcement, we now have 59 complaints. We've been able to resolve about 30% of them. I can show you another Excel spreadsheet that we put together that we're going to track each item and where it stands in the process. Many, as I said, about 30% have been resolved, and we're working through those. As a part of the code enforcement, I've been working with the law director, and she's doing some research. I think one piece that might be helpful as we move forward is adding a new ordinance that establishes what I would call an habitual offender, someone who's had X number of notices in a given calendar year. And if a law allows, once, let's say you've gotten 4 notices already about mowing, once you've achieved that number, we don't have to tell you anymore. If it gets too tall, we can go in and mow it and make you pay it. Because right now, and we've got at least one entity that plays the system. I give them a notice, they got 2 weeks. They get a second notice, that gives them 2 weeks. It gets mowed, and then it's too tall again, and then they start all over again. So rather than allow them to get to the point where it's a problem, if it's legal, and if you're so interested, we'll create some type of a category that, based on the number of notices in a given calendar year, it kicks you into a different higher punishment and faster ability for staff to respond to it. Does that make sense, I hope? So if that's something to think about, and once the law director's had a chance, we'll bring with you a potential ordinance to do that. All right? Let's see, what else? We have another request on a liquor permit, and I just want to make sure, my understanding is the practice is we don't require a public hearing. Before I check that box and mail it in, I want to make sure that that's the council's pleasure. Shaking your heads, yeah? Okay.
What's the,
What's the establishment?
It's the same, it's for J&P Summer Investments doing business of Subway, and it's for a liquor license up in Covington, I think Bosco's Place. And so I've done some research. Apparently there's the ability for an entity in another county to take an unused license in that county and move it to them. I'm telling you, and there's a term for it, a Trax license, I'm not sure, but I've called the liquor place, I've talked to some other people that deal with that, and apparently it's a thing in Ohio. So they're out of licenses in that county, they go to us and say, you've got licenses available, and they can port it to that other entity.
Okay.
Why would we want to do that?
That's a good question. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm still learning how liquor license, the system works in Ohio. It's very different than what I'm used to.
If,
All that does is give another county a financial advantage.
yeah,
Again, good point. I'm not recommending that you approve it. I'm just asking if you want to proceed on this. If you want more information, we'll table it, and I'll bring back hopefully more information at the workshop.
yeah,
Is that all right?
yeah.
yeah.
That's fine. I have gotten, I'm sorry? Oh,
No,
okay. I have a proposal I have forwarded to you for a utility rate study on both sanitary, sewer, and water. I have tried very hard to get multiple proposals. This is not a common, there's not a lot of firms that do that in Ohio, as I understand it. The firm is Baker Tilly. They have offices in Columbus, Ohio. I've worked with, and they are combination of a law firm that I knew in Indiana and an accounting firm that I knew in Indiana, and they're now under this Baker Tilly umbrella. So I do have some experience with the firm, not these specific partners. But I was able to talk them down on the price, and we're going to do a lot of the work distance. I mean, we can do it by Zoom. They don't have to travel, so they got the price down. I think it's really important that we have those utilities studied and we determine if we're generating enough revenue moving forward, and also look at the impact of the growth that we anticipate. And I think that data will be very important to us as we're planning to grow that infrastructure. So I just want to make you aware of that. I think the cost is $13,600 for both, and I can meet with them later this week if you're comfortable with me moving forward. Okay. The last item I would like to put on the agenda for our workshop, the interviews for the planning board. I have 6 candidates identified. If there are others that you have that you'd like to involve, let me know. Otherwise, I will include on our workshop an executive session where you can interview them individually, briefly, and then hopefully get enough information to make your decision on who you want to appoint. And then after that, it will be whether you want to wait for the next month's regular meeting or try to call a special meeting to make those appointments.
Refresh my memory, how many openings do we have currently?
You have 5 on both. We're going to do the planning board, and then you also need to do the Bureau of Adjustments.
Okay.
And 1 member on the planning board can serve on the Board of Adjustments.
Okay.
Board of Adjustments are 5-year terms, planning board are 3-year terms, according to your charter.
Are you able to email us those lists, that
Absolutely.
list of names?
Yes, I'll be glad
See.
to. I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
The planning board is going to be crucial as they're the driver of our comp plan.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our goals by the end of the year was to at least make some progress on the comp plan, and I'm running out of months.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get that planning board up and running, as well as other business that the planning board needs to consider.
Yeah.
Is that agreeable to make our workshop part of that?
Yes.
That's what we'll do. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Well, I do have a question about that. So does
Sure.
should that be an executive session?
I would suggest it is, that way you can meet with them individually and privately to ask whatever questions you want to ask and get their input.
So then we should change the workshop to a special meeting.
I would like to have a portion of the workshop open and then go into executive session for that, if that's agreeable.
Yeah.
Because I've got some other items I want to talk to you about in the workshop.
Okay.
You're going
Is
to
that
try
all
to
right?
interview all 6 of them?
I would think so. I don't know how extensive you want to do, but if you talk to each of them 10
If-
minutes.
Be short.
If we got six people in
We don't
nine
specialize in
positions. So,
But you know what? These are really important decisions. These folks are going to be really important to the future of the community. So I hope we get some more folks who are interested. But however many you get, my recommendation is at least talk to them for a few minutes and get a feel for why they want to do it, what's important to them, how they see the future of West Milton before you make your decision to put them on the planning board.
yeah.
Anything else? Thank you all very much.
Any old business for council?
Mr. Herron, do you have any old business?
I do have one quick item.
Yep. Yes, sir.
You're okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Go ahead.
just real quick on the recycling. We've had, not a lot, but we've had some calls about people trying to get recycling into the containers, and the containers have been full. I thought it was just a quick chance to just bring you guys up to date. On August the 16th, believe it or not, that's when the first dumpster was set. I told them, let's just set it and just see how long one takes to fill up, and then we can decide how often to dump it. Less than a week later, it was full. So we added a second dumpster. We were on 1 week dump, 1 week off type of schedule. Fast forward to today, we've got 2 dumpsters, and they're dumped every Tuesday morning. Again, this is a good problem, I think, because the recycling is really good, clean recycling. I've went through all of our notes. I cannot find any, we've not had any items where they've charged us for loads that were contaminated, which is pretty huge. We've had a couple minor instances that we've taken care of quickly with the bins, no problem. So I'm working with Rumpke now to see what our best and cheapest option is. Do we add another container? Do we add more dumps? But the biggest thing behind that is I just want people to know, one, thanks for recycling good, clean, recycled material. And two, we are trying to find a way where we don't want them to be frustrated and they don't want to go up because they think the bins are full. Actually, we want the opposite. So I am working on that, and hopefully within the next week or so, I'll iron something out with Rumpke to make sure they're emptied more often, that sort of thing. So,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Just doing some reminders.
Yeah, please,
Okay.
sir.
Just some reminders about this week. We have 2 events coming up. So this Thursday, we have the third Thursday coming up. Last month's third Thursday was a success. We have 6 food trucks coming down to the big parking lot. And I'm gonna read to you those 6 food trucks here. El Diablo Grill, Dennis Delp Brick Oven Pizza and Ice Cream. Buckeye Burgers will be there. Paw Kettle Corn, Claiborne Grill, they were there last time. And then Any Style Hot Dogs. We have a really good selection coming. And then we also have a band coming from 5 to 6:30, Deja Blue. So it should be fun. The whole thing is from 4 to 8 on Thursday, so do not cook. Do not cook dinner, all right? That's what I'm excited about, to get to eat out. So 4 to 8 Thursday, and then the Fall Fling is also coming this Saturday, the car show downtown, where they block the whole downtown off, and that's from 4 to 8 also. Yeah, that's sponsored by the West Milton Rotary. So we've got some exciting stuff coming up. Hopefully the weather
Yes,
stays nice.
yeah, big week.
Yeah.
Any other old business for council? Any new business tonight?
We have no new business.
Comments by citizens this evening?
I have a question for Ben. My name is James Green, live on Wagner. You said something about they're gonna fix that place up on Wagner Road where it's really bad.
I said we've fixed places on Wagner that were really bad.
They ain't touched that spot since I talked to you once.
No, I
It's really
said,
bad.
no, I said we've fixed spots in the past that were really bad. I have not committed to fixing a spot that I'm aware of.
You're
Which-
not aware of Wagner being bad?
I know Wagner's bad. What spot are you talking about?
They ain't but one great big one up there. You got holes in there, I mean, they're that deep, holes in the road. And if a car parks on that side and one on this side, you gotta go right straight through them.
Okay. Well, that was actually I think you're talking about when we discussed our Dura patching, when we're out doing our street patching. Does that
And
sound
when y'all was
familiar?
talking about doing all this blacktopping, we
Okay.
talked about that.
So you're,
Remember that mirror that dropped?
so you're talking about the Dura patching.
No, you told me that y'all was gonna fix that spot.
Okay, so when we discussed it, we talked about, I told you we would be Dura patching, which is a street repairing machine, and we will be Dura patching that, we will be repairing that spot with the Dura patcher, not construction wise, and we have not Dura patched yet this year.
Because, I mean, I know it's big, because you told me that the reason you didn't work on that street because it didn't have no water drainage. Well, when I got to looking, it's got the same water drainage as the streets that you just blacktopped. North Street, it was a lot worse than North Street, and Front Street, it's a lot worse than Front Street was.
I don't, I probably said it had bad drainage. I don't know if I said it had no water drainage, but regardless, when we discussed it, I said that when we got our Dura patching machine out, we would come up and Dura patch that.
Because you
spot.
said you wanted to try to get a grant to put in all the storm sewers and stuff.
Well, the grant would do total street reconstruction, correct?
So, 'cause I
To
wonder, 'cause
improve the
it's-
drainage and,
I know it's getting a lot worse than what it was, but I have one other question. What about the dog kennel across from the library sitting out in the front yard? There's a big one and a little one, and all that junk in his driveway. I mean, you want to clean the place up, out the dog kennel in the front yard? That's
Thank
all
you,
I got
Mr.
to
Green.
say.
thank you.
It sure has been good to be back tonight. I've been watching you guys at home, and the chair's a lot more comfortable there than it has. I just want to thank you all. We are so blessed in West Milton with our council, with our street department, with our fire department, with our police department. I love this community. I've lived in this community since 1977, which is a long time. We are blessed with your caring for our community, that you're open to doing things. I always tell people when they complain to me, go to council, they'll hear you and they'll try to do things. And I have so appreciated being back here tonight and getting to see all you guys. I so appreciate all you do. And I just thank you for your service and for being here for our community. I think it's great what you've done and learning and stuff. And we are blessed in our community. Now, is it perfect? Heck no, there's nothing perfect, I don't think. But we're blessed because you guys care. Our police department cares. Our fire department cares. We just are, if you could hear people talk from other community people, you don't know how blessed we are in this one. Thank you for all you do. It's really been fun being here tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Alice. Thanks, Alice, very much.
Thanks, Alice.
Any other comments?
I have just a comment from a citizen friend that, was like, you're on council, could you?
Sure.
So just driving from the school and from Lowry, it gets like really congested around there. And she was just asking, on Haskett, like, where Milton Potsdam comes behind the baseball field, like the boys' baseball field, and Haskett like continues out to where Milton Potsdam curves to 571. I don't know if you're all following me, but it's really narrow, and so the people that park on the street are basically parking in the one and only like traffic lane. I don't know if this has come up before, if there's a solution.
We've talked about this
I was going to say,
before.
this has been a continuous conversation that we've had about possibly making it one way. There's been all kinds of ideas.
And then it's like those
thrown
guys have
out
to kind
there.
of park in their yard or up on the curb
Right,
or.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
And
really.
I'll defer to Ben and Jeff for that solution, but,
It's half, basically it's half, part of that's township. So like on the Haskett connector that goes in between the two is actually in the township. And then half of that section of Haskett's in the township. So the curb side is the city and the other side's the township. So it is narrow, and then you've got the property on the other side. So it's complicated mainly because, we'd have to do something jointly with the township to try to widen that, to maybe take some of that frontage from that property, possibly.
I think what Ben's saying is there's no inexpensive, easy answer. We could certainly approach the township and see if they're interested in some type of a joint project. That would probably be the best way to resolve it. So we'll contact them and see if they have any interest.
I know that property sits so close to the road too.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't go that way. luckily, but
Well, you explained it very well.
Yep.
It is very good.
Yep.
What are we talking about?
Yep. Seeing no other business by council, no other comments, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate it.